Hey there, it's James Erickson from EMC Dental Marketing at emcdental.com, and today I've got a couple things to go over with you. One very important strategy I'm going to cover in a second, but first I want to answer a question. I've got a few questions not only from dentists out there but from dental marketing experts out there saying, James, why are you putting all these videos online and why are you giving away this stuff that we sell in some of our programs or you've read about in this book and that book? And my goal here is to give you some information that you can take serious action on, to basically leave you better 5 minutes from now than when you showed up here, and give you an actionable tip. And I really don't care who's out there selling information like this or providing products. Yeah, we provide products that help you get your patients and help you retain patients you already have, but at the same time I'm here to make your life easier and make your patient attraction, you building referrals, or you retaining patients easier. So by giving you these free videos and by posting them on YouTube and on the web for everybody to see, that's going to help you become better at what you do every day and help you to make more money. So let's get right to it. Today I'm going to talk about creating lift in your practice. And creating lift is something that not a lot of dental experts talk about. But when you think about referrals and what it has to do with getting more referrals from your current patients. Usually when you ask a guru or an expert, if you will, about getting referrals, they say, well, why don't you just ask for referrals? And if you ask for referrals, people will magically send you referrals. Well, that's all well and good, but number one, we know that it's very uncomfortable to sit there face to face with somebody and say, gee, Mary, I'm glad you had a great experience. Why don't you send me a referral? And it's even more uncomfortable for Mary to say, oh, well, hello, Joe, my friend. My dentist told me to ask for referrals, or my dentist told me that he accepts referrals, so why don't you go to my dentist? It doesn't come up in conversation. So this idea of creating lift is going to help bridge that gap between asking for those referrals. You don't have to ask for referrals. There is a spot for asking for referrals, but this isn't it. And that point where the person that you ask to get the referral actually goes out and gets the referral. So basically it's going to make it easier for you, you not having to ask for referrals, and it's going to make it easier for the patient to not have to say, why don't you go to my dentist, or bring it up in a way that seems intrusive. So first of all, let's take a look. I'll do a little cool effect here. Let's take a look at a diagram we've all seen, and it's the diagram of the plane wing and the plane wing as a whole, and how a plane works and how the flow of air over a wing makes it lift. So I'm going to look at the screen here. We've got the airflow, or here's the airfoil, so it's the wing of the plane, and then there's air flowing on the bottom and the top. And as you see, the airflow has to go a longer distance over the top, so it has to go faster than the airflow across the bottom, which creates this theory of lift. Well, this is the same way that lift works in your practice. Now bear with me for a second, because I'm going to lay this out in ways you can understand, and then I'm going to give you 3 actionable tips, or a tip at the end that you can go and take action on tomorrow. So let's replace the airfoil with your practice. So here's your practice, and please, I have a cold so I'm kind of struggling through this, but here's your practice as the airfoil now. And the airflow that's flowing over your practice is actually information. Information about you, information about your practice, information about the service that your practice offers, and it flows around your practice. It's kind of like creating a buzz in your area. So the information in the practice, or the information surrounding the practice, really is going to, instead of creating lift, it's going to create referrals. So lifting your practice up or making your practice, putting it at a higher level through referrals, has to do with this flow of information. And the flow of information deals with the fact that the information that you give your patients is what they have to share with their friends and family. So let's go back. Here's your airfoil. The airflow flows across it. You create lift. So now instead of the airfoil, it's your practice. Now instead of sharing that, hey Mary, I would like you to refer your friends and family to me, you share something like, oh, Mary, did you know I was out flying my airplane the other day, or I was out flying in my helicopter the other day, and I noticed this, and I thought you might want to know that. Okay, well, there's another flow of information. You've given her something personal about you. So now Mary goes out into, let's use a better example, airplanes and helicopters. So you're back at this point, your practice. Mary, did I mention that my daughter is graduating college today? This weekend. I'm so excited. I'm going to fly out to see her. I hope you don't need anything in the next couple days, but she's graduating college today, she's got a degree, and she's already got a job lined up. Now, some of you would look at that as bragging, but now you're relating, you're providing information to Mary that she will keep in her head at least throughout the day, that now can relate to anybody else out there. So you've provided this information, and not only that, but you've made the information flow quicker for her. So now when somebody goes and says, oh, I'm attending my, Mary's out at work, or Mary's out with some friends, and their friends say, oh, you know, so-and-so's graduating this weekend, and Mary's like, oh, who do I know who had, oh, my dentist is actually my dentist is leaving the town this weekend to go, to his daughter's graduation. Well, now Mary's brought you up in a conversation where she can now relate, rather than saying, oh, you should go to my dentist. Now she's making you seem like a good guy or a good woman, because you're going to your daughter's graduation. And maybe there's somebody in this group that's going to need a dentist, and she's going to remember that Mary said that. Maybe the person, so you've given her some personal information, something about your life other than dentistry, that will help create more referrals. Now let's get rid of that. Let's do a little magical fade in here. All right, here I am back. And we need to realize that this creating lift in your practice is the same way that an airplane creates lift. And a lot of times in our newsletters, you do a monthly newsletter, right? You try to relate to your patients as a dentist-patient relationship. And what happens is you give them a furcations are us, a crown and bridge. You talk all this dentist jargon to somebody that really can't tie that into their normal life. What you need to do when you're talking to patients or when you're relating to patients, give them the best smile available, number one. Give them options, number two. And number three, relate to them as a person, not as a dentist. So tell them about if you got a new puppy, if your wife is expecting, if your friend's wife is expecting a young baby, like my wife is. If you got a new puppy, like I said, if you got a new car, that's a good one. If you like it a lot, let them know you liked it, let them know where you went. These are a lot of ways to relate to them as a person. So in that case, like I said, it's not about asking your patients to refer, it's giving them ways to talk about you. If you give them more ways to talk about you, and like I said, that's relating to them as a person, give them personal experiences, not dentist experiences. As your homework, as your takeaway tip, put down on a piece of paper the numbers 1 through 3 and list the 3 things you love to do when you're not doing dentistry. When you're not in your practice, what do you love? It could be family, it could be playing with your golden retriever, it could be driving your expensive Maserati around, it could be anything. But list in that order, 1, 2, 3, what you like to do when you're not doing dentistry. And then on Monday, start talking about those things more, and you'll find 2 things. You'll find, number 1, your patients are going to love it because they'll see a little more personal side of you. And number 2, you'll find that you like practicing more because now you're actually doing something that you love. Not that you don't love dentistry, but you're talking about your family. You're talking about maybe a hobby you have that you're passionate about. Number 1 through 3, what do you like to do when you're not doing dentistry? And start talking about those things more in your practice. Once again, this has been James Erickson, EMC Dental Marketing. Go to emcdental.com for any information on our turnkey services for dentists. Thank you. Visit emcdental.com for more dental marketing articles, as well as all the information on our turnkey dental marketing services.